brilliant sculptor spent 30 years crafting what he dreamed would be his masterpiece. Each time he neared completion, he'd spot a tiny flaw, perhaps a curve not quite right, or an angle slightly off. Instead of continuing, he'd start over, destroying months of work. He died with nothing but fragments and unfinished pieces. His masterpiece forever trapped in the prison of his perfectionism. His masterpiece forever trapped in the prison of his perfectionism. Look around this room right now. How many dreams sit unstarted in your mind? How many goals remain frozen in time because you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances? That perfect moment you're waiting for, it doesn't exist. And that perfect moment you're waiting for doesn't exist. Perfectionism isn't excellence, it's paralysis. It's the thief that steals your potential, the voice that whispers, not yet, until not yet becomes never. Every day you wait for perfect conditions, life moves forward without you. Your dreams gather dust while you stand still, planning for a moment that will never arrive. Right now, thousands of business ideas remain unstarted because someone thinks their plan isn't perfect yet. Countless books sit unwritten because writers believe they need more research. Musicians never share their songs because they're waiting to improve their skills. But here's the truth. Every successful person you admire started imperfectly. Take the founder of Southwest Airlines. When Herb Kelleher started, he had just one route between two cities and 3 planes that often broke down. Today, Southwest is one of the largest airlines in the world. He didn't wait for the perfect fleet or the perfect route map. He started with what he had. Sarah Blakely, who built Spanx into a billion-dollar company, began by cutting the feet off her pantyhose in her apartment. She didn't have a business degree. She didn't have manufacturing experience. She just had an idea and the courage to move forward with it, imperfections and all. What's really hiding behind perfectionism? Fear, pure and simple. Not fear of imperfection, fear of judgment, fear of criticism, fear of not being good enough. We dress this fear up in sophisticated clothing and call it high standards or attention to detail. But let's call it what it is. Fear. Wearing a mask of excellence, perfect, is a moving target that keeps shifting just out of reach. The moment you think you've achieved it, you'll spot something else that needs fixing. It's like chasing the horizon. No matter how far you walk, you'll never reach it. Consider this. Would you rather have an imperfect business that's making money or a perfect business plan that's still sitting in your drawer? Would you rather have a good book that people are reading or a perfect manuscript that no one has seen? Would you rather have a decent workout routine you actually follow or the perfect fitness plan you never start? Would you rather have an imperfect business plan and no one has seen? Would you rather have a decent workout routine you never start? Done beats perfect every single time. A simple product in the market will teach you more than a perfect product in your mind. An imperfect presentation delivered will impact more lives than a perfect speech never given. A good enough meal plan you follow will transform your health more than the perfect diet you never start. Progress is a lightning bolt from the sky. It's not one giant leap that transforms everything overnight. Real progress is the carpenter who adds one board at a time until a house stands tall. It's the writer who puts down one word after another until a book fills the pages. It's you taking one step today, another tomorrow, until you look back and can't even see where you started. Think about building muscle. You don't walk into a gym and immediately lift 300 pounds. You start with what you can handle, maybe just the bar. But each time you show up, each rep you complete, your body adapts. Those small increases in weight, those extra few reps, they add up. 6 months later, what once felt impossible now feels like a warm-up. The same principle applies to every goal worth chasing. Want to start a business? Don't try to build an empire in a day. Start with one customer. Serve them well. Learn from what works and what doesn't. Then find your second customer, your third. Each small win creates momentum. Break down your mountain into molehills. Want to write a book? Don't think about writing 300 pages. Think about writing 1 page. Want to transform your health? Don't focus on losing 50 pounds. Focus on making one healthy choice at your next meal. Want to build a successful career? Don't obsess about reaching the task. Focus on mastering the task in front of you right now. The power lies in consistent action. Small steps taken consistently create unstoppable momentum. Each step builds your confidence. Each small win proves you're capable of more. Each tiny improvement compounds over time into massive change. This is how real progress happens. Not in giant leaps, but in small steps taken day after day. Not in perfect execution, but in consistent action. Not in avoiding mistakes, but in learning from each one and keeping moving forward. Your progress is happening right now, whether you see it or not. Every action, every decision, every step forward, it's all building something bigger than you can see in this moment. Your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect, right now. Every minute you spend waiting is a minute you'll never get back. Every someday you tell yourself is a today you've lost forever. Think about a time when you finally did something you'd been putting off. Maybe it was starting a workout routine, having that difficult conversation, or beginning that project. Remember how the anticipation was worse than the actual doing? Remember how once you started, you wondered why you waited so long? That's because action creates clarity. You'll learn more from 1 hour of doing than from 1 month of planning. You'll gain more insight from one conversation than from 1 year of thinking about it. You'll move closer to your goals from one imperfect step than from endless perfect plans. Starting now doesn't mean starting big, it means starting somewhere. If you want to run a marathon, put on your shoes and walk around the block. If you want to start a business, talk to one potential customer. If you want to learn a new skill, spend 15 minutes practicing today. Here's what happens when you start now. Momentum builds. That walk around the block becomes a jog. That jog becomes a run. That one customer gives you feedback that helps you find 10 more. Those 15 minutes of practice start showing results, motivating you to practice more. Opportunities don't just appear. They're created through action. Every successful person will tell you the same thing. The biggest opportunities came after they started moving, not while they were waiting. The perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect situation, these aren't things that happen to you. They're things you create through consistent action. Starting now means accepting imperfection. It means being okay with not knowing everything. It means understanding that the path becomes clear as you walk it, not before you take the first step. The cost of waiting is invisible but enormous. It's the relationships never formed, the impact never made, the lives never touched, the potential never reached. Every day you wait is a day someone else is taking action, learning lessons, gaining experience, and moving forward. It's time to change how you measure success. Stop comparing where you are to some perfect ideal in your mind. Start measuring how far you've come from where you started. Success isn't about reaching perfection. It's about making progress. It's together, integrated. Think about learning to walk as a child. Nobody expected you to get up and run a marathon. Every wobbly step was celebrated. Every fall was just another chance to get back up. Your parents didn't say, well, that step wasn't perfect. Maybe you should wait until you can do it better. They celebrated every attempt, every small victory. When did we lose that? When did we start believing that anything less than perfect wasn't worth celebrating? It's time to bring back that childlike approach to progress. Set milestones you can actually reach. Instead of saying, I need to build $1 million business, start with, I need to make my first sale. Instead of, I need to transform my entire life, begin with, I need to change one habit. These aren't just easier goals, they're smarter ones. They're goals that create momentum, goals that build confidence, goals that keep you moving forward. Celebrate your small victories. Did you make one cold call today? Celebrate it. Did you choose a healthy lunch? That's a win. Did you write one paragraph? That's progress. These moments matter. They're the building blocks of bigger success. Here's the truth about setbacks. They're not failures. They're feedback. When a scientist's experiment doesn't work, they don't quit science. They take notes, adjust their approach, and try again. Start treating your setbacks the same way. What can you learn? What can you adjust? How can you use this to move forward better? Success isn't a perfect straight line up. It's a messy path full of ups and downs, twists and turns. Some days you'll take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. But as long as you're moving forward, more than backward, you're succeeding. That's what real success looks like. Not perfection, but progress. Let me share a simple but powerful truth. If you get just 1% better each day, by the end of 1 year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. Not 365% better. 3,700% better. That's the power of small improvements compounded over time. 1%. That's all it takes. 1% isn't scary. 1% isn't overwhelming. 1% is doable. It's reading 1 page more than yesterday. It's doing 1 more rep. It's making 1 better choice. It's spending 1 more minute practicing. 1% is progress anyone can make. The math is simple, but the results are stunning. If you improve just 1% each day, after 1 week, you're 7% better. And if you get worse, you lose it. After 1 month, you are 30% better. After 6 months, you're 180% better. After 1 year, you're 37 times better. But here's what makes this rule so powerful. You don't actually have to improve 1% every single day. You just need to make small improvements most days. Because even if you improve just 0.1% per day, you'll still be nearly 4 times better by year's end. Think about water dropping on a rock. 1 drop doesn't make a difference. But day after day, year after year, those drops carved through solid stone. Your daily 1% improvements are like those water drops. Each one seems insignificant, but together they create unstoppable force. The key is consistency. You don't need massive changes. You need small changes you can sustain. Don't try to read 100 pages today if you normally read 0. Read 1 page. Don't try to work out for 2 hours if you normally don't exercise. Move for 5 minutes. Don't try to completely overhaul your diet overnight. Make 1 better food choice. These tiny improvements stack up. They build on each other. They create momentum. Most importantly, they build habits. And habits are what transform temporary progress into permanent change. Remember, nobody sees the 1% improvements. They only see the final result. They see the carved rock, not the water drops. They see the success, not the daily tiny steps that created it. But you know the truth? Those small improvements, those 1% gains, those tiny steps forward, that's where real transformation happens. Your 1% starts today. What's one small improvement you can make right now? What's one tiny step you can take toward your goals? The word goal, elementary people understand. Stop seeing failure as your enemy. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every failed attempt is actually a lesson wrapped in experience. The only real failure is the failure to try, the failure to move, the failure to move, the failure to take action. Think about a baby learning to walk. Every time they fall, what do? They get back up. They don't lie there thinking, maybe walking isn't for me. Maybe I should stick to crawling. They don't call a meeting to analyze why they fell. They don't wait until they're sure they won't fall again. They just get up and try again. That's failing forward. Each fall teaches them something. Each attempt makes them stronger. Each try brings them closer to success. Why? Because they're not failing, they are learning. They're gathering data. They're building strength. They're gaining experience. The most successful people in any field have failed more times than most people have even tried. The difference? They use their failures as feedback. Every no tells them how to get closer to yes. Every mistake shows them what to adjust. Every setback teaches them where to focus. Build your resilience through action. Start small. Take risks you can recover from. Let yourself fail in ways that don't break you. Each time you fall and get back up, you prove to yourself that failure isn't fatal. Each time you try again, you build your resilience muscle. Here's what failure really teaches you. What doesn't work, so you can focus on what might, where you need to improve, how strong you really are, what you truly want, because you'll only keep trying for things that matter. Stop waiting until you're sure you won't fail. You will fail. Accept it, expect it, plan for it. But keep moving forward anyway. Because each failure brings you closer to success. Each mistake makes you stronger. Each setback gives you the experience you need to move forward better, smarter, and more effectively. Okay? Your next failure isn't waiting to stop you. It's waiting to teach you. Success isn't random. It's systematic. You need a simple, practical way to track your progress and keep moving forward. Not a complex system that becomes another excuse for delay, but a straightforward approach that keeps you focused and moving. Start with daily tracking. Each night, ask yourself one simple question. Did I move forward today? Not did I achieve everything, not was I perfect, just did I move forward? Write down one thing you did to progress, one step, one action, one small win. Weekly, take 10 minutes to review your daily actions. Look for patterns. What's working? What's slowing you down? What small adjustments could make next week better? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about getting better. Make one small change based on what you learn. Monthly, check your direction. Are your daily actions still aligned with your bigger goals? Are you moving toward what matters most? If not, adjust your course. Remember, you can change direction without starting over. You can shift your path without losing your progress. Every 3 months, look at the bigger picture. How far have you come? What have you learned? What goals need updating? This is your chance to celebrate your progress and set new challenges. Not because the old ones weren't good enough, but because you've grown stronger and can now aim higher. Your system doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be simple enough that you'll actually use it. Track what matters. Adjust what isn't working. Keep what moves you forward. Start this system today. Not tomorrow. Not when you figure out the perfect way to track everything. Today. Because a simple system you use is infinitely more valuable than a perfect system you don't. This is your path to consistent progress. Your way to make sure every day counts. The time for thinking is over. The time for planning is done. This is your moment to start moving. Right here, right now. Not after you leave this room, not when you feel more ready. Now. Take out your phone, open your notebook, whatever you have, write down one action you'll take in the next 24 hours. Not something huge, not something perfect, something doable, something you can start today. Make a commitment to yourself, not a grand promise to transform everything overnight. A simple commitment to take one step forward every day, to choose progress over perfection, to value action over endless planning. This is your chance to change your story, to stop being someone who is going to start someday and become someone who is making progress today, to stop being someone who waits for perfect conditions and become someone who creates their own momentum. Your future self is watching right now. They are hoping you'll make the choice to start. They're waiting for you to take that first step. Don't let them down. Don't let yourself down. The path to your goals starts with one step. Take it now.